let's talk about template strings. Now, what are they? Well, let's get into it. It's basically the definition of a string literal and how you manage that string literal. So let's get some variables going, and we'll come up with an example. So let's say that my first name is Ed and last name is Jordan, and we'll say my age is 18, and let's make it a string. And let's say that my jersey number is 23 and my team is Chicago Bulls. Something like that. Just to show that we have some variables and we want to do, specifically we have 5 different variables. And what we want to do is just print out all these variables in a statement like this. So you can say that my first name is, and I can say first name, right? I'm adding first name, whatever this variable is. It's going to resolve it to add, and I'm going to assign it to, well, append it to my first name, and I'm going to keep appending things here so that we could see. I'm going to say just my name is, so I can say my name, and then add a space, and then add last name, and then I can just keep adding some things here, and I can say I am, and then I can again append age, years old, and I play for the Chicago Bulls, right? For the team. And my jersey. And my number is, let me just add the jersey. So making it a little bit more complicated than I have to probably, or longer, but I think it's going to get us what we need. So if we run this, we see that we see this in the command line. Let's save it, and then let's run it. Control tilde, and then we can do something like, let's clear this here in terminal, and say node template. And if we run this, let's see what blew up. Well, something blew up here because it says jersey's not defined, so it's jersey number. So jersey's not defined. This is good when it happens, so we can kind of troubleshoot on the fly and solve the problem together. So now I get what I expect, which is my name is Ed Jordan. I am 18 years old. I play for the Chicago Bulls, and number is 23. Whether that's grammatically correct or not, it's not a big deal. I just want to show that we can do this, and this is not a problem using this. But now I want to show you what we could do with template strings, because this video is all about template strings. So what is template strings? Well, again, I mentioned that template strings allow us to manage our strings in a more efficient, more readable, and more maintainable way, I could argue, and I'm going to show you how. And the way that we could do this is if we copy and paste the old way and we do a new way. In the new way we're going to do with template strings, what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's remove the quotes from the outside, and we're going to wrap the whole thing in these little quotes, right? The little backtick quote, and we're going to remove all the quotes and the pluses. We're going to remove all the pluses in the quotes, pluses in the quotes, pluses in the quotes, right? Pluses in the quotes, pluses in the quotes, and just bear with me, pluses in the quotes. So we're not going to be managing these anymore, which is great. And now let's save it and run it. Let's see what happens here when we run this. We're going to see two sentences, right? Two outputs. One is the original one. The second one, it looks good, except that first name is not actually printing first name. The first name is actually printing the literal first name. Same thing for last name. So everything that's a variable is just printing the name of the variable, because that's what I said here in terms of a string. So we need to tell JavaScript, hey, I don't want you to just display first name or last name. I want you to basically take it as the value of the variable. I want you to treat first name as a variable. So how do we do that? Well, we can easily make that a variable by saying $, curly brace, left curly brace, right curly brace. And you can see that we get some color-codedness already here, where it's purple, and then this is a variable, and it's light blue, just like up here. We have to do the same thing for this. Right? We have to do exactly the same thing for this. Last name, same thing for age. Same thing for anything else that we have as a variable, and if I remember, is team and number, jersey number rather. And we'll do that here. And let's go ahead and save it and run it and see what it looks like. And here it looks exactly the same. This is the original, and this is the second one. And so just to recap, what was the big deal? Well, the big deal was that we could take this original one, and we could make it a template string. We could start using a template string rather, and the template string looks like this. And you can argue, or I could argue, that it's more maintainable and more readable because we don't have to manage more things. So the rule of thumb that I always say is that the less things that we can manage, that we get to manage in software engineering, software development, the better off we'll be. And that's because we don't have to worry about, did we forget one? Did we include the quotes? Did we forget a quote? Did we forget a plus? In fact, at the beginning of the video when I was creating this, I made that simple mistake. It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't intentional, but it happened to me, and that's just proof that that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Why? Because we only have one tick for quotes, right? That's going to be just wrapping the whole text. And then inside the text is pretty easy to just say, hey, I want you to, JavaScript, I want you to treat this as a variable. Go ahead and resolve that value. And it's easy for us to denote how that's on a display. We don't have to worry about even spacing or anything, adding these spaces. It's just a lot cleaner. Hopefully you could understand and agree with me as well. It's just a lot cleaner. This is one of my favorite ways in dealing with strings in any programming language that supports this type of thing. You know, if you are familiar with my Python videos, you know that we have F strings or format strings in Python, and this is exactly the same thing, right? Ruby has interpolation, which is exactly the same thing. So many languages catch on, and they do exactly the same thing. When there's a good idea, everybody borrows from the good idea, and this is the same concept here. I hope this helps.